Hello everyone, in this video I would like to say something about the pass by value and pass by reference in the C and C++ programming language. First, we will go to the question. As you know that a pointer variable or pointer in short is basically the same as the other variable. This one thing different that a pointer either store value stored in the pointer either array of another pointer another variable. But we have a question that we have a two functions swap in A and in B. We call pass by value, but with the function swap in acid A and in acid B, we call pass by reference. So what is the difference here? Actually, in the investigation, both of them are pass by value. The mechanism is absolutely same. Even the result is totally different. So let's deep dive into. We will analyze the first function swap in A and in B with the below sample code. I think the code is very simple and you can write by yourself. In here we have a function swap in A and in B, and we have a main function. First we have a two variable number 1 and number 2, and we print out the arrays of number 1 and number 2 here, and also we print out the value before swap of number 1 and number 2, and we call the function swap. Then we in the swap function we print out the arrays of A and B variable. Then we print out the value of A and B, and we swap A and B, and after that we print out the number 1, number 2 after calling swap function. And let's analyze this sample. Too easy to understand. You can imagine that pass by value same the copy, paste, and window. We have a two file 1 and file 2 here, but in the swap function we make the copy and paste, copy of file 1 and copy of file 2. Absolutely same the copy and paste in window. Then swap function will work in the both copy file, not the original files, and we swap content of copy file 1 to copy file 2. Then we save this file and back to the main, and absolutely we can see that the original file never changed, right? Because we make the copy file, the copy files, and we do something change the content of the copy files. Nothing change in the original file. That's why and here I want to say something about the why we need to temporary variable here, temporary variable here. So to easy understand, you can imagine that you have to swap content of two copy. One is a fruit, orange fruit, and another is a cup of water, and you have to use the empty cup to swap two content of two cup there, fruits and water. Without the empty cup, you cannot swap the content. That's why we have to use the temperature variable here. And after you can easily run the code and the value here. In here, A is a copy of number 1 and B is a copy of number 2. Absolutely same like file here. Copy of file 1 and copy of file 2. And you can easy to see that the address of number 1 and number 2 and address of A and B is different. It means that it make a new variable, new 2 variable in memory and copy the content from number 1 and number 2 to A and B variable. And we can swap function A and B, but after swap, the value, the number 1 still 10 and number 2 still 6. It means that the change only happen in this copy file or copy variable. That's why the function cannot swap the number 1 and number 2 in the main function. So we have to use the pointer here. This is the full sample code and you can easy to see. In memory, we can see for the byte here, and for in number 1 we have a 2. We need to, it's an integer, so we need to 4 bytes to store the data. 10 here, and we have a array of number 1. The same for number 2, and it is the same in the swap function. When the main call the swap function, compiler will allocate 2 array to the memory location with array is the same here, and with the A0 and A00 and A8, and copy the value from number 1 to the new variable, and the same for number 2. And swap function that only swap content of copy once. So that's why after return from swap, number 1 and number 2 still values still keep. We cannot swap the value for number 1 and number 2 after calling swap function. So we need to pointer here. Pointer will help us to swap data, swap 2 variable A and B, 2 integer. The code absolutely same, but we in swap function we use the pointer here, and we access the value by access A, and we swap content of A and B, and we call by the and swap function here. And after, how they work? Let's imagine that pointer is a variable that contains arrays of another variable, like 5 paths in Windows or Linux. We have a 2 file 1 and file 2 in main, and file 1 we have a path is C user doc, and file 1 the same for file 2. When we call swap, we send the copy of file path, not the copy of content like path by value before. In this case, we still pass the copy, but the copy is the file path, not the content. So we pass the copy of file 1 path. The same we pass the copy of file 2 path. When in swap function we have a file path, so we can access the original file by file path, and after that we can swap content for original files, file 1 and file 2. This is the point how to pointer work. Pointer, you can easy to imagine that the same file path in Windows or Linux, not make the copy of content. In this case, you still make the copy path by copy, but the copy of file path, or in the memory path copy of array, not copy by a value. So we can see the output here. You can easy to see that arrays of number 1 and number 2 and array of A and B still different. It means that they are different variable. We just compiler will create the four different variable to handle that. And in this case, we can see that the arrays of number 1 and the arrays of number 2 will be copied to the variable A and B. Then because we have a array, we can access the original variable, and we can do anything, get the value, change the value, and save the change. So in the mechanism is absolutely same the pass by copy a value, but just one thing, the important thing different, that in this case it's copy a file path, or it copy a variable array. When we have a copy, we have a arrays of number 1 and number 2, we can easy to change value or update value or get value. So in this case, A is a copy of array of number 1 and B is a copy array of number 2. It's still passed by copy, but that one thing is in the pointer is a copy by arrays, not copy by content. So you can call it the pass by reference. This is happen in memory, and we still have a variable A and a variable number 1 and number 2, and in this case A compiler will create the two new value, A and B. The size of pointer in the OS 64 is 8 byte. That's why I make the 8 byte here. And then it copy the array of A to it copy array of number 1 variable to A, and copy array of number 2 variable to B. So in swap function we have a copy of arrays. Then we can point to and change the data for number 1 and number 2. That's why the result is different when we pass by value and we pass by reference. So I already mentioned before that the mechanism, both of them is are passed by value, but the result is totally different. So I would like to say something to you can easy to understand what happened or how does it work. Okay, so thank you so much, and I think next video I will make the comparison between pointer and reference. So if you like the video, please subscribe, and it can help me to make more some helpful video. Thank you so much.